Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're diving into some source material that is, honestly, a dizzying, complex narrative achievement. We're unpacking the family Dino Jungle Escape. Now, on the surface, sure, it presents itself as your standard toddler adventure. But as we're going to see, it's actually a relentless three-act, genre-bending masterpiece. We're talking survival, sudden shifts in reality, and just the sheer chaos of existence. To make sense of this wildly chaotic journey, we've broken this explainer down into 6 parts: the South Forest Incident, Operation Officer Marshmallow, the Zoom Zoom Interlude, the Giant Gumball Puzzle, the Doo-Doo Derby, and finally, the Dino Hamster Victory.
All right, Part 1, the South Forest Incident. We kick things off with what seems like a simple wrong turn into the beautiful but totally treacherous South Forest. And man, what follows is a descent into a pure survival thriller.
The pacing of this opening sequence is absolutely breathless. So, the family decides to settle in the forest just before sunset. Boom! They are instantly met with a giant bird monster attacking from above. They manage to cook over a fire to drive the monster away, but then the whole environment goes pitch black. And in that darkness, the ultimate catalyst happens. A character named Johnny breaks a dinosaur egg. The abrupt shift from peacefully feeding a sweet giant herbivore to facing catastrophic danger is just brilliantly immediate. It perfectly illustrates the jarring juxtaposition right at the heart of this narrative. On one hand, you have the family's naive expectation, right? Wow, this forest is beautiful, let's settle before sunset. But the reality? It's a pitch-black nightmare, a broken dinosaur egg, and an angry mama dinosaur actively hunting them down while they hide behind trees, whispering for silence. This entire turning point is captured perfectly in this incredibly desperate line of dialogue. What did I step on? Oh, Johnny, you broke a dinosaur egg. We need to go now. This isn't just a mistake. It's a profound, catastrophic blunder. It's that exact moment they realize they've crossed the point of no return, instantly kicking the survival horror into high gear. Which brings us to Section 2, Operation Officer Marshmallow. The family is trapped, the situation is dire, and they need professional extraction. The narrative really piles on the tension here, treating this with the gravity of a military documentary. Heavy rain suddenly moves in, completely blocking their communication signals to the rescue team. But wait, hope arrives in the form of an elite unit known as Team Delta. Unfortunately, the situation devolves immediately. The dinosaur becomes, in the exact words of the source, super angry, forcing the team to order a panicked tactical retreat. What's truly fascinating here is the deployment of their key asset. Right in the midst of this terrifying, heavy rain evacuation, a command decision is made, putting Officer Marshmallow in charge. Go! The source treats Officer Marshmallow not as some fluffy confection, but as a seasoned tactical veteran stepping right into the line of fire to manage a giant, super angry beast.
But tragedy strikes almost instantly. Marshmallow falls. The team cries out for him. And it really forces us to ask this desperate question. How does one actually stop a super angry giant beast when your lead tactical officer, Marshmallow, has taken a tumble?
Well, the answer is a masterstroke of absurd genius, the Sleepy Dart. This highly effective tactical projectile is deployed to neutralize the dinosaur in an instant. The entire crisis is ended with the pull of a lever and the cold, definitive declaration, "Big Dino, your game is over." The life-or-death crisis is resolved just as abruptly as it began. And just when you think you have a solid grasp on the narrative, we hit Section 3, the Zoom Zoom Interlude, bringing with it an absolute thematic whiplash. Instigated by the sudden appearance of a toy boss, the protagonists just instantly drop all memory of their forest trauma. They enter this high-octane racing intermission governed by strict, almost robotic protocols. Step 1, foot on the brake. Step 2, hands on the steer. Step 3, look left, look right. It acts as a crucial hypnotic reset for the audience's psyche. The dialogue completely shifts from screams of terror to this deadpan mantra. Zoom, zoom, voom, vroom. We are in the race. Make some room. Nobody can stop us. The trauma of the angry mama dinosaur and the heavy rain is entirely suppressed by the adrenaline of this vehicular race. They're unstoppable, not because they're safe, but because they are moving way too fast to look back. Yet the narrative refuses to let us settle into the racing genre for long. Welcome to Section 4, the Giant Gumball Puzzle. We've arrived at another completely surreal element. Right in the middle of their newfound joy, they're presented with a giant gumball machine. But they can't taste the gumballs. Why? Well, the machine is perceived as broken, specifically because the mechanism is, quote, too tight.
The characters literally have to stop everything to collaborate and problem-solve this bizarre mechanical failure just to retrieve a piece of candy.
So the crucial point boils down to this. Why interrupt a high-speed driving sequence with a malfunctioning candy dispenser? It really highlights the totally avant-garde, completely disjointed storytelling choices of the source material. It forces the characters, and us as the viewers, to constantly adapt to entirely unrelated obstacles appearing right out of thin air. Honestly, it's a masterclass in how to keep a distracted toddler's attention. If the narrative ever slows down, just throw a giant piece of candy at it.
Which perfectly sets the stage for Section 5, the Do-Do Derby, the ultimate race, and a chaotic, fast-paced sports drama.
Let's methodically break down the escalating disruptions they face on this track, because the pacing here is absolutely frantic. First, a turtle stop forces a temporary halt on the track. Then, an aggressively honking horn creates total auditory confusion, prompting the racers to yell, "Shish, go away!" And finally, the sudden, terrifying appearance of a T-Rex scares the racers and forces them to slam on the brakes.
And underneath all of this chaos is the constant, sheer repetition of this lyric, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. It's chanted endlessly. It acts as the hypnotic heartbeat of the climax, driving the cars, the baby, and Johnny forward through the sheer, unadulterated absurdity of the obstacles they are facing.
And this brings us to our final section, the Dino Hamster Victory, the twist ending of the Derby, where traditional expectations of victory are completely subverted.
During the final sprint, the baby, who really seems poised for victory, goes up and then tragically falls down. And in the wake of that dramatic fall, an unprecedented champion emerges from the pack to take the lead. That champion is the Dino Hamster, an unexpected, completely out of nowhere, surreal entity that defies all odds to win the race. I mean, we weren't introduced to the Dino Hamster's training montage, we didn't know the Dino Hamster's motivations, but in this cinematic puzzle, the Dino Hamster's victory is presented as the ultimate, undeniable triumph.
When we take a step back and really look at the overarching structure of this story, the contrast is staggering. Act 1 gave us pure survival horror featuring a giant monster, heavy rain, and a tactical rescue operation. Act 3 gives us a sports drama featuring turtle stops, a honking horn, and a dino hamster taking the gold. It is an absolute marvel how these starkly different genres coexist in one seamless, chaotic narrative loop.
Which leaves us with one final, lingering thought to ponder. In a world of giant monsters, sleepy darts, and malfunctioning giant gumball machines, is the Dino Hamster's victory the only thing that truly makes sense? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Until next time, keep analyzing the chaos.